I'm Australian now. Apparently you Americans prefer to listen to a voice that's got an accent, so now I'm just gonna pretend that I've always had this accent. See, now the channel name is gonna be Boats That Fly Down Under, and I was born straight from the outback, like the Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings. You Americans are fond of that. You see, my dad was Crocodile Dundee, and my other dad was Steve Irwin, and my other dad was Kangaroo Jack. Carried me around in his pouch, like a wallaby. If you got their attention, everybody's gonna click away. It's clicked away already. Now that we're done with the what's up, guys, YouTube bullshit, Rogue One. I think Rogue One has by far some of the best camera work, some of the best space fight choreography of any movie I've seen, at least. Let's dig in. All right, 2 Star Boys, a shield gate, and the Rebel flagship. Of course, I'm going to leap on the opportunity to make a few little model ships. Just making sure you guys know, I'm not Australian, I'm purebred American. I would never lie about something so dumb, especially my physical appearance. I don't want to give off the impression that something about me isn't true, you know? I like to be genuine. Alright, so, the battle starts when the rebels warp in. Really like the way that they warp in like that. It's not too much. They just gotta appear. I like that. Reminds me of Doom. My computer's over here. I gotta like go back and forth. Okay, apparently it's not as easy to remember as I thought. The Star Boys are here. Shield aperture's here. And then the rebels show up. First off, we can hear him giving out orders the entire time. So that immediately gives us like a faux narrator, and he tells red and gold squadrons to defend the fleet, and then he tells blue squadron to get through the hole. I can't really use this. It's too big, you idiot! The little ship that's like going through the gate as they're trying to pass through it, it actually gets through. It doesn't have like the whole time I was watching, I was like, oh, the tips of its wings are gonna get cut off. And it didn't. It got through. They showed such restraint. So now some of Blue Squadron is down on the surface. So they get down to the surface, they shoot the thing. This guy smiles so genuine. I can't help but smile with this guy. He looks like he's straight out of the 70s. All right, so this shot, the camera moves through the battle, and it just gives you a really good sense of the 3D space that we're in, exactly where everything is. Like I could adjust this to that right now, just based off of this shot. The point is, they're in the same general position in 3D space, so in my head, when I see Rebel flagship, shield gate, and 2 Star Destroyers, I know about where they are, and so they're holding pretty much the same position in my head. And so I can remember the positions of everything, and it's easier to know when with all this going on and all these little ships flying around, I can still think to myself, Rebel flagship, a few other Rebel ships around it, shield gate, and 2 Star Destroyers. I can remember that so easily. As opposed to, oh, this is pretty cool. Oh wait, no it's not. Oh my god, what's going on? Holy lord. Oh my god! Okay, alright.
Advil.
We hear him say,
engage those Star Destroyers and let's start probing that shield.
So that means now all the X-Wings and the Y-Wing bombers are going to start attempting to attack this thing and attacking these kids over here. This is shaking. This is a bit unnecessary. They don't have to... I don't understand why they're... Actually, you know what? It looks cool, so it looks okay. Ooh, it did the thing. Whoosh. All right, so we're also seeing that the X-Wings are not moving like they're planes. They're moving like they're actually spaceships. So if it's moving like a plane, it's kind of like there's some resistance from the air. In this, we're seeing them moving more like it's in zero gravity. More on that later. All right, so now the Y-Wings are doing a bombing run on the shield gate. Oh, he was in A New Hope. Top 10 Easter eggs you didn't notice in Rogue One. The effects aren't overwhelming. It's not just throwing stuff at the screen, and it's not ridiculous. There aren't just thousands of shit. Okay, well, I mean, that's... Here, I can explain that. Another thing that I really appreciate, the shadows on the tops of the ship when the Y-Wings are flying over the Rebel flagship, you can see their shadows. It doesn't make the battle, but the tiny little details like that make it so much more fun to watch. I see it and I'm like, ooh, shadow. They're shadows in real life. Incredible.
Stick close, Red 5. Where are you going?
That's another little detail. Red 5 is killed in this battle, and then Luke takes his name. Number 7! The title Red 5 that Luke has in A New Hope was originally belonging to this guy who died. Top 10 Easter eggs I ripped off of an article I read to make money on YouTube. The stagnant shots. The stagnant shots. It's easy if you're doing like small scale stuff. It also just looks really nice and it's really smooth and it's easy to understand the perspective that you're looking at. Bug just scurried across my desk. The transitions in Rogue One are really, really smooth. They go from one scene to another very well, which is what a transition is. You fucking... There's this one where he crashes into the ground, and then it goes from that to all the soldiers on the beach. And then the other one that comes to mind is when Jin and everyone else are in the U-Wing, and they're warping away from Jeddah as it's being blown up. All the debris is coming up, and it just slowly pans from that up to the Death Star. And then we go to the Death Star and see what's going on in there with Krennic and CGI Nightmare Monster. Something I really appreciate in all these scenes is how the explosion, debris, and particulates will hang in the air. So when something explodes, it doesn't just bang and go everywhere. The momentum and the force of the direction, the momentum, the inertia, that's the word. When an X-Wing explodes, it explodes, all the little parts and pieces keep flying away. And the little puffs of smoke, those stay in the air in the background. Seeing stuff like that, that's like how it would be in reality, it connects with me so much more.
Hit that opening.
We see it, Gold Leader.
One of the Star Destroyers has been left vulnerable to attack, and so the Y-Wing bombers go in and shoot it with their little ion bombs. Don't talk about this, Jedi. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. One of the Star Destroyers gets its engines disabled. He says,
Call up a Hammerhead Corvette.
and then it pushes the Star Destroyer into the other one. Again, with the zero-G combat. That is good. That's perfect. That is exactly how you should be thinking if you're in zero-gravity combat. You could just push things into each other. That's exactly how space combat would actually go down. You would be using these enormous objects to your advantage. And if you just nudge it, it's got so much momentum. If it slams the other Star Destroyer and they can't move out of the way in time, yeah, that would work. That's a perfectly reasonable thing. This is another thing where it's like, oh, I think it's gonna do this. But then it does something that would probably more likely happen in real life. It's like, oh, well, when I'm watching the Star Destroyer get knocked into the other one, Ape Brain is thinking, do this kind of number and just cut it right in half. It's gonna be so cool. And then it knocks this bit off. Instead of pursuing obvious events where it just cleaves it right down the middle, and now you got two halves of a little starship, it knocks the bridge off. Well, yeah, I guess that would happen. So as you're watching, it's just nice. It flows. It flows, and it's not dumb. Knocks the Star Destroyer into the shield gate, disabling it.
Transmission received.
Admiral, we have the plans!
Woohoo! Now I'm really being an asshole here, but technically, because they aren't in orbit, and because they aren't in deep space, they are stationary above a planet. Technically, it makes total sense that they'd all be facing up. Normally, a criticism of space combat is they're in deep space and they show up on the battlefield or whatever, battle space, war stars, and they're all facing up, and that doesn't make any sense because they're just hanging out above the surface of a planet and not moving, so they aren't in orbit. There would be gravity. It wouldn't be as strong as the surface, but there is gravity, and it's down. So, but that would also negate the point that I made earlier, where the things are in all zero G. Well, hold on, because there can be gravity without an atmosphere. What am I doing? All right, roll film. Get on with it. This isn't necessarily about the space battle, but it's another reason why I can appreciate Rogue One. When the Death Star emerges from hyperspace, it doesn't play the Imperial March.
Sir, we're detecting a massive object emerging from hyperspace.
It's light flutes, and you're not supposed to feel like it's intimidating or imposing. You'd expect when it cuts to the Death Star, it's like, because it's supposed to be this threatening thing. But instead it cuts to the Death Star, and it's these light flutes, which makes you feel like instead of this threat showing up, it's more of an inevitability. It makes you feel a bit more emotional about the whole thing. You're accepting the inevitable death that you've taken on for this noble sacrifice of going to Scarif to retrieve the plans, instead of you fearing death. This horrible, like, oh my god, the Empire. It's the Empire. It's not necessarily one big thing that this battle does right. It's all these little things that just start compounding on top of each other, one after the other. I get more excited when things happen. It's more emotional. The believability factor is enhanced. All right, so that was the Battle of Scarif. There was a short period of time where I was like, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. That didn't last very long, because then I realized I don't actually care for much of the movie. I really like the cinematography. I really like the transitions, the set design, the costumes, the cinematography. It's all done really well. But the script, everything to do with the rebellion is really fun, and I could really get into it, but Jyn Erso specifically is just a non-character, and you can really feel them trying to create a character without understanding how the characters from the original Star Wars movies really had their oomph. And this is the problem with sequels and prequels and reboots and I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of every damn video editing out 5 to 10 minutes of you talking about sequels and prequels and reboots and remakes. Shut up. Shut up. Stop going on these tangents. Every video. Prometheus, Halo, and, this one. Shut up. Move on. I'm just gonna look through my notes and see if I missed it. We also get the introduction of Darth Vader as a complete and total badass. His inclusion in Rogue One was definitely just fan service garbage nothingness, where they just throw him in there because it's a Star Wars movie and they gotta have Darth Vader. He just forces all their guns away. They're just sitting there helpless, just cutting them down like he's farming wheat. Alright. I think the video's over. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Before I wrap this up, just want to make a quick update on the Patreon. Now you get entered into a raffle. Once a month, I will select randomly to make a video on a topic of your choice. Negotiated, obviously. If it's about an entire book series or TV show, I can't. Movies would probably be best, or concepts in general that I could research in probably like one day. You know, I don't want it to get in the way of other content and other production of other things, and on top of being in school and having another job to do. So, on top of access to the bonus content every video and the movie streams that I can't really do yet. Not enough people are in that, so I mean, again, I'm still getting everything set up. It's not going to be perfect at first. And then the top tier is something like an entire video based off of your choice of topic. Again, negotiated, but I'm guessing I'm willing to go further for that kind of video considering the nature of it. So that should cover that. I would invite you to consider supporting me on Patreon. I would really appreciate that, or at least checking it out. Don't forget to like, comment, and report this video, and I'll, bye. Thank you. Love you. What am I talking about? What kind of dumb shit is this white boy gonna squeal about for a few minutes? G'day, mates! Are you gonna behave? Am I gonna have to whip out the wallaby smasher? That's not a knife! That's it! That's not a dumbass. This is a dumbass! Carried me around in his pouch. Like a wallaby. I gotta see a man about a wallaby! P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way City. I gotta go down to the Opera House. How many Australian things can I pack in one phrase? Rogue One! I fucking... Oh, shit, look what time it is. I can't read. It is 2:20 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, I'm here. Rogue One has, by far, some of the best space fight choreography of any movie I've seen, at least.
Are you ready to rock?
Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low.
Raise your pork shield, runt. Prepare to engage.